If this slime ball ever tries to come out of the woodwork and run for office again, I hope people remember this. I hope the coal miners remember this. I hope people in the audience remember this.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I wanted to start the program talking about Tim James. This guy.
You thought you'd heard the last of him.
Well, I mean, basically you have, but I want to talk about him because I am really, really aggravated at this guy. Tim James lost the Republican gubernatorial primary election a couple of weeks ago.
Got crushed,
coming in third place for the third time, actually, in a Republican primary. He has run, this is the third primary. He ran for a primary, I think, for governor in the other two as well, in 2002 and then in 2010. And in all three of these, he's come in third in the Republican primary, which is just fantastic. I love it. Coming in third after such a strong performance from Governor Ivey that she avoids a runoff. Governor Ivey did not go to a runoff, so she's going to be governor. And he finished behind no-name Linda Blanchard. Who is that? I don't know. You don't know. She's a nobody. She bought an ambassadorship to Slovakia or Lithuania or whoever, like wherever the hell. Who cares?
I'm sure she's quite the expert on Eastern Europe.
I'm sure she's just totally. I'm sure she's intimately familiar with the internal politics of Slovakia or Slovenia or Lithuania, whatever. I'm sure she's super aware, and it wasn't just that she was a big donor to the Trump campaign, but that's where she got into politics. Is that she was a no-name bought ambassador to Slovenia. And she beat Tim James, who has been in Alabama politics for decades, whose daddy was governor, and she beat him. This nobody beat him. So that's very funny. But one of the things that made him interesting as a potential governor, as a potential Republican governor, was his support for striking coal miners in Brookwood, Alabama. He said, I've never seen anything like it. He said, this is corporate greed like I've never seen before. He reiterated multiple times how much respect he's got for these coal miners and how Alabama politicians are leaving them behind and sucking up to out-of-state private equity firms like BlackRock. BlackRock owned Warrior Met. He seemed really passionate about it. He made real concrete commitments on this program to the coal miners. And so, given this guy, the coal miners endorsed him. So given that this guy seemed so adamant that it's important to support these coal miners, now that he's lost the election and presumably he's got so much time on his hands, I would assume he would be doing something for them rather than slinking back to his private toll road construction company and out of the public eye. I would just assume, if you actually give a damn about working Alabamians, that now that you've got all this free time, since you're not running around trying to convince people to vote for you, that you would be focusing a little bit of your attention on this issue that nobody else in conservative politics in the Republican Party on talk radio is talking about. I would assume that just a tiny bit, 1% of your time and energy and resources would go towards this issue. So immediately after the election, I decided to hit him up to ask him what he plans to do to support the coal miners. There's a big way that wealthy individuals, that people whose daddy was governor, like Tim James, there's one way that he could support them, and that's making a big donation to their strike fund. You know, this guy has a net worth presumably of like millions of dollars. He could donate $500,000 to their strike fund, and that would go a long way in helping these people as they're on strike against Yankee capitalists that are trying to take advantage of the natural resources of Alabama and the workers of Alabama, which, again, he claimed to care about. Another way that somebody like him could support the miners in a way that somebody like me could not, for one, because I've got a job, for another, because I do other stuff. So I don't have the time, I don't have the political cachet, and or the name recognition or the resources to do what I'm about to say. But something that somebody like him could do to support the coal miners is by making radio rounds across the state on conservative talk radio and really putting a campaign of public pressure on the governor. He could use the political connections. His dad is still alive, former Governor Fob James, who sent state troopers and helicopters to break up a picket line in Cortland, Alabama, as paper mill workers were on strike, who sent state troopers to a picket line of striking teachers in Walker County. He could use the political connections that he has to, behind the scenes, put pressure on Governor Ivey to do something about this. And then in front of the scenes, he could be making the rounds on conservative talk radio as somebody who's got some amount of political capital with these losers on talk radio, with these absolute buffoons who are trying to make you care that Mr. Potato Head is now just called Potato Head, or that Minnie Mouse is wearing a pantsuit. He's got political cachet with these buffoons, and he could try to talk to them on the radio and try to build up a public campaign to pressure the governor of Alabama to do something. And he's not doing that. He's got time, he's got money, he's got friends in high places. And he's not doing a damn thing about this. And I mean, look, folks, I genuinely, I'm doing this segment now a couple of weeks after the election because I genuinely hoped that if he didn't have something in the works already, that maybe asking him about it, because again, it doesn't take much time or resources for somebody like him to do what I'm talking about. I was genuinely hoping that maybe if he didn't have something in the works already, that maybe my asking him would spur him to say, oh yeah, you know what, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I should do that with all this time that I've got on my hands now that I'm not going to be governor. I would have giddily, with bells on, highlighted the work that he would have done. And I would have even been willing to attack Democrats for not doing it themselves, which I will. I'm going to be pitching to some outlets an op-ed about the Biden administration's lack of action. Because, of course, it's not just Ivey. Where's the Biden administration been? This is a guy supposed to be the most pro-labor president, he wants to say, in history, at least since FDR. And we've got a strike, a coal miner strike in Alabama. I mean, just politically, it's such a winner. It would be such a winner for you to come down and walk the picket line with these people in Alabama, to come down and do a rally in Alabama, to start an investigation into Warrior Met with MSHA or with OSHA or with the SEC, or just do something, put some kind of pressure on. So, look, it's not just Governor Ivey, but we're in Alabama and we're talking about the Republicans right now. So I would have been willing to do that, and that's still the case, and I will do that, and I have done that, and I will continue to do that. But I would have happily highlighted the work that he does, that he did, that he would have done, that I hoped he would do to support these coal miners. And I would have not been highlighting the differences that we have as he does this, because I don't care kind of what other politics that you might have. If you're supporting working people and you're not supporting working people as a veil to divide working people, then I'm happy to kind of lock arms with you on a single issue. So, I emailed his campaign press person. No response. I called her, got in touch with her. She said she'd pass the message on. Nothing. I found his private toll road company and sent an email there. Nothing. I found what I believe to be his son and his son's, I found what I believe to be his and his son's phone number. And I got a message on a voicemail that says, this is Tim James, blah, 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 leave a message. This is Tim James Jr., blah, 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 leave a message. I left 2 messages on both of their phones. Nothing. I followed up on his private toll road company, construction company email. Nothing. Radio silence from him after all these attempts to contact him through his campaign, through his dead, losing campaign, through his campaign press person, through his personal phone number, through his company email, through his son, nothing. The only logical conclusion that you can draw from this is that Tim James is a fraud. Tim James does not care about Alabama. Tim James does not care about her workers. And all his bluster at the Mine Workers Union Hall, where he said, this situation is nothing like I've ever seen before, in his plantation owner Montgomery accent. This is nothing like I've ever seen before. This is unparalleled corporate greed. That was all BS to try to scramble together a coalition to get elected. That's all it was. It was just another no good, no count politician trying to make us working folks believe that he cares a lick about you and me. And he didn't mean any of it. And presumably neither do any of these other people. And it's so, I'm just so frustrated. I'm so angry. And I'm not even angry. Like, I don't care. I don't give a damn if he texts me or calls me or gives us a press release or whatever. He could have, in response to because like I said, that I haven't gone forward with any of this information, any of this radio silence that we have gotten for requests to continue supporting the coal miners. I didn't go forward with this until just now. He could have, without crediting us for spurning him, he could have just said, just done a press release, just done something, and just totally ignored us. And I would have been fine with that, and I still would have highlighted the work that he would have done. I don't care if he gives us credit. I don't care if he comes on a radio program again. I don't care if he calls me or if he emails me. I don't care about that. What I want him to do is support working Alabamians who are in a fight right now for their lives, for their communities, for their families against Yankee capitalists in New York, in D.C., in other countries, who are trying to profit off of our workers and our natural resources and break our spirits. This is something that he pretended to care about. And it was all BS. It was all BS. And so I hope that if this slime ball ever tries to come out of the woodwork, to slime out of his private toll road construction company hole and run for office again, I hope people remember this. I hope the coal miners remember this. I hope people in the audience remember this. I hope conservative working people remember this. He will say whatever he thinks it is that will help him get elected, and then he will throw you away the second that you do not become politically convenient or helpful for him. That is who Tim James is. The phone number is 844-899-TVLR if you want to join the show, if you have anything to add to that.
I can't help but chuckle a little bit. Way to go. I see you're fired up about Tim James, and I don't blame you. Good example of the pandering that these politicians do to try to get the support of ordinary working class people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's totally, it's just nothing. It was all lies, just a big nothing burger to try to get working people to believe that he was on our side.
He's got a lot of peers.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Because he really just exemplifies most politicians, certainly most politicians in Alabama, that's for sure.
Yeah. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.